start with the Rap Royal Rumble. As I've been, seeing it termed. This is what a turn of events here. In a week where it begins with J. Cole. We talked about him doing the apology stuff last week and all that stuff. He drops his project, and it essentially it has now disappeared into the ether as he is bowed out. But from there, Drake decided to, turn the mic on, and I told you, Mike, that red that ain't it. Like them red hats are now owned.
MP, I gotta tell you, when I saw Rich's Facebook Abby had a red hat, I just said in the group chat, I was like, Rich, hold on, Rich running MAGA hat? What's this? I just left it at that. I didn't bother to click on his Abby to see what it was. I was like, I know he ain't wearing one, but I'm gonna give it to him anyway.
Yep.
I'm gonna give him the joke anyway.
Yep. But yeah, Drake drops a song called like Push Ups or something like that. I don't know what it is, and that shit's hard. Like there's like, but
which version?
Exactly, get into that. So when it first comes out, I hear like this very lo-fi. It didn't sound right. It sounded like AI, quite frankly, and I was like, nah, this ain't it. But there were certain little things that were happening in it where I was like, okay, this could be, because like there were certain ways they're getting out in and out of the rhymes and like the ad libs, and it's like AI can't replicate all that yet. So I was like, there's something to this or whatever. But then they dropped the real one, and I was like, oh. If Drake rapped like this, I would never complain. Like, if he rapped like this all the time, I would never complain, ever. Like, but he went pretty hard. He was going at Future, Metro Boomin, Kendrick Lamar, Rick Ross, like, among other people. And it was like, yeah, he's ready to step in the ring. And, I commend him for that. I thought it was really dope, actually.
I thought it was a good song. Obviously, it's like it's the thing that's for me that I find interesting is, at his stage of the game, how do you make a diss record, and how do you make it hurt the most? Is you make a song that like can be played on rotation and people will start singing, will know the words and will repeat them. Like you can play that song in the club, and like that's gonna be the part that's gonna hurt because it's a catchy song. And I don't mean catchy like it's a pop record. I mean like it's catchy like. This is a Drake song that's like one of those songs that like it, with any other bash he cooks up, where it's like that's one of the 5 songs that's gonna get a rotation on the radio or wherever else you hear it for a while. Like it was one, it felt like one of those songs. So like I think that part of this game is also kind of new territory. Like we don't really get into the part where like we're gonna make a diss record where we can really put it on the radio. I mean that's more of a pop thing. That's more of like Taylor Swift, Bad Blood. All that diva type of shit, right? That's not a thing that's normally for rap. Normally it's like, they go to the New York radio and start
turn the mic on, put
releasing shit to Funk Flex or Clue or whoever. So yeah, this is kind of a bit new. It's a bit new. So I found that to be an interesting move of how he's going to play this, because like Drake, regardless of whatever happens in this situation, like the people that are going to be judging this with an open with honesty. Like, to be fair about it, like, if Drake loses, he loses, right? But the thing with Drake is he has so many fans that that aren't connected to rap, that do not give a fuck about the rules and this kind of stuff. And they'll just play their song and like, they're going to move on with their day and be like, oh, he killed all of them.
Yeah.
6 months from now, regardless of how this turns out, he killed all of them because he had the song that, like, I know they played on the radio. Like, and those other guys probably aren't going to have a song like that. I would say that that Metro song with Future and Kendrick that first started all this, that song is going to play on the radio. But it's so rare. This is a rare new thing now. So I'm interested how this all is going to go, and obviously like the discourse beyond it, because obviously there's so many non-rap fans that like Drake. There's like I'm not trying to listen to what none of y'all got to say. I don't care. Like I saw them talking about Ross saying like why is he being ungrateful after Drake has given him his only hits. I'm like, this is rap. We don't give a fuck about hits necessarily in that way. Yeah. And all person that's been on Ross saying his diamond's fake as a hit maker, but it don't matter. He made Hustlin'. You know what I'm saying? So
years before really, Drake was in the picture,
right? Yeah, and also like he's made
BMF
great rap records. a great rap album. So like, it doesn't necessarily matter that he never made some, a bunch of hit records that wasn't, a part of the whole assembly line of that Miami Motown Khaled shit. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So
I gotta say, man,
I'm interested to see how this goes.
I'm happy that the We Are the World era of rap is ended. I'm tired of all the hand holding, all the extra long collaborations. Like somebody say you better than somebody. Goddamn it! Somebody walk in the room and say, "Can't nobody whoop my ass." Like, and that's kind of like what has gone on here. And this has ended up the industry versus Drake. And I think like the easy thing, being as somebody that has done some diss songs or whatever, and kind of knows how to do this a little, like the best scenario for Drake is him
being outnumbered. He has more material than everybody else.
Bro, he can just literally rap in a circle and be like, like that Samoa Joe promo where he comes out, I'm gonna start with you, and then go to you, and then go to you, and then go to you, and just keep rotating them, and then whoever jumps out the most, you can get them. You can get, whoever, and it makes him look like an underdog. It makes him look like he's handling all these people at once, and it's actually easier to do because they all have to focus on him. They're all gonna be competing to kind of say the same thing, possibly.
They all gotta take different angles for how this works, and also like fit it to like their personal beef with the dude, and like that narrative, that oral history, that narrative being put together amongst all of them. People aren't gonna care about all these people, right? Like when he quickly dismissed Metro and said, "Shut your ass and make some drums, nigga." Like, Metro
he's done.
He's done, right? Like you're just a producer. Not you're one of the best producers in the industry in the last decade, but you're still a producer nonetheless, right? Like if you took out Metro's name and put Timbaland or Dre or Jermaine Dupri or Swiss, it would have hit the same way. You'd be like, well, maybe less because they did DJ shit where they would talk over the records, but still, it still hurts the same. It still hurts.
Yeah, like now when Metro Boomin, like his tag drop, people gonna chuckle under their breath, like, oh, he made some drums, like,
yeah.
That's funny. But from there, it like it kind of set up the internet was on fire, and it got a very positive reception, I'd say. Then it spun off into
before we move on, the thing that I mentioned is when this whole thing started, and I had made a point. It's like you said, why is anyone scared of Kendrick? It's like, I don't know, he's 5'5", and then Drake on the line says, he's like, how the fuck you big stepping with some size 7 men's?
Yes.
Oh, I chuckled. Oh, I howled. Look, man, it's been a long time coming. Like, that's one of the things where it's like, I don't understand if y'all, I understand like the beef thing. Oh, he said this, that, the third about you, but it's like, well, how's when they in person if they ever in person? Right? Oh, okay. So, like, this is the reason why, like, I feel like I conduct myself in this way where it's like, hey, man, you can pull up any One Nation Radio thing you want to, as far as me saying anything about anybody. And if they got a problem with it, I can defend it. And if they feel some way about it, it's like, hey, I can apologize if you felt I got out of pocket. And if I agree that I'm out of pocket, but like, I'm not going to just fold just to fold.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the thing that comes with this. And I don't think that's a Kendrick even came with no disrespectful things. Like, hey, I just want to do this. But that's where Drake is going with. It's like, hey man, I'm going to go at the parts that really hurt you. In most short,
you can't change. You can't change that.
Can't nothing change about that unless he go get that surgery.
Yeah, unless you're gonna wear lifts, or whatever.
Well, I mean, that's the surgery is kind of lifts too.
Yeah.
You're taking parts of bone and infusing it to other parts of bone. That's nuts.
Yeah.
I heard that you'd be out of commission for months doing that.
Yeah, getting them shin implants and shit.
Right, shin extensions.
But the whole thing with Drake, I think was surprising to some people, but I wasn't really surprised. Like, this is a guy that will rap or whatever. Like, then it spun off into Rick Ross like jumping on Instagram and like laughing with a beat playing in the back, and then like just calling him white boy just over and over again, and like. Rick Ross is not gonna out rap Drake. However,
no one's expecting
this nigga's hilarious. Like he's fucking hilarious. And if there's something you don't want to do in rap battles, is go against the funny guy, because everyone will point at you and laugh. Like no matter what It's easier to do.
Right. Because look, it's one thing when like the verses are coming out, you're like, okay, the verse is what it is. But once you get in there with T.I. or Ross or 50 Cent, and the song ends,
and they start
after
talking
the hook, after the verse, and they start going, and they start talking that shit at the end. It's like, oh man, I forgot the worst part. We're like, these people are first Battle Hall of Fame rappers. At the same time, they're somehow better fucking insult comedians. And it's like, bro, you don't want no parts of that. You do not want to be on the wrong end of T.I. calling you a fuckboy. You don't.
Bro, do you remember the Spider Loke diss when the game, it was like the 240 bar one, and he rapped over the I Know You Don't Love Me.
I Know You Don't Love Me?
Yep. And then like he had some old head just talk on the end for 2 minutes.
Some OG nigga.
He was like, you dumb son of a bitch.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
we need to link that. Please. Y'all gotta listen to like how the game lyrically dismantles like Spider Loke in by proxy G Unit, just beats on them.
Well, back to your point earlier, right? We were talking about it. The 1v whatever, right? One man army standing on business shit.
Yep.
It's like, listen, it's so much. You have so much more material. They have so much less. They all have to compete with each other to come up with different angles and make it work. And you can just in one song diss 3 niggas in each verse or whatever. So just start throwing strays at people or 300, 400 bars, and you just slaughter. It feel like you just slaughtered all of them. And that's what Game did with G Unit. It's like, like the shit that 50 said about him, right? We did the Imitation Game voice and all that shit. That shit was awesome. But that's one compared to like when Game had like 6 of them in like the span of a year. It's really hard. Or that's one thing that I thought Drake had to his benefit. And then Ross came out here and was like, well, you've got the part where like I'm just better at this because like I've done this for a long time. And he kept coming out. Look, man.
He drops like a song.
He was about the record.
He drops a song, and the rapping's cool, but it's like Rick Ross just rambling and whatever. He gets to the end, and then he starts calling him a white boy, which is really a sub.
There's a particular nastiness to it. He's going, nigga, you a white boy. Nigga, you a white boy, which is like,
we know what you really want to say.
Look, I think I know what he wants to say. I'm not going to go there, but I will bring up another point. Look, we'll go back to where we're at.
He wants to do the Alex Jones video where Alex Jones is doing this.
Yes, he absolutely wants to. And if people want to be like, well, what do you? And then people were getting on Drake for saying, in that thing with his mom or whatever else, said he was being racist. Like, what? This is someone white boy would say, like a white person would say it's a black person being reverse racist to him.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I don't know if he can actually say to his mom, well, this guy's being anti-Semitic to me, and like black people ain't going for anti-Semitism a lot of times anyway. But it's like, bro, I saw Ross in that video say that OVO is pastrami posse. We're done. There's no possible.
We know what they're saying
around that. We're done.
Bro, I didn't even think about it until you brought it up. I was like, yo, that's crazy.
When I was like, oh my god, and he's gonna skate on it because he's gonna skate on it. But it's like, bro, that's anti-Semitic as fuck. There's no other niggas you finna say that to other than Jewish people. There's not. And he'd be like, well, what do you mean? It's like, okay, like just wiki pastrami and see what you see, and then you see European Jewish people. It's like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
So.
And where's Ross from?
Miami.
South Florida. Oh. Where a lot of South Florida Jewish people come from? New York. Oh. What's in the delis in New York? Pastrami. What? Who plugged it into pastrami? Oh, light bulb. That's what that is. So it's hilarious, but it's also anti-Semitic as fuck. And he's gonna skate on it.
Yeah.
Not by me. Everyone else gonna let that shit skate.
Yeah, that shit is he's basically saying, hey, you got nose surgery to make your
that's another part of it too.
To make
rhinoplasty.
Yes, he was like, call that man BBL Drizzy, and like talking about how he has, he's got 25% body fat, but he got 6-pack abs. Like, we know what that is. That man that took that trip to Dr. Miami or whatever, instead of hitting the gym, eating right. Like, that man took a shortcut And then he was basically saying, you want to be out here with the niggas. Like, bro, the way he was saying that, I was like,
right,
bro, this, like the
that
way,
shit's gonna eat Drake alive.
oh my
Because
god,
there's so much about
him wanting to
like,
be accepted. Like, oh my god, it's so
and that's the
much.
story you always, and that's that grade school story you always hear about when like with interracial kids or biracial kids, like trauma is that I was this and I was that, but I wasn't accepted by either or I was accepted by one less than the other, and I feel weird about it because like I can't get over the part where like kids and they say mean things. Anybody got time to get out of high school? People are over that shit, and you should get over it too, right? So yeah, man, like he's being real nasty about this. Like Drake, this shit hurt Drake more than anything else has ever happened. Like the deadbeat dad thing, I guarantee that did not hurt him as much as this has.
Yeah,
I guarantee you. When he's alone by himself, and he think like, damn,
bro, because like he loves Rick Ross, bro. Like like. Let's not get it twisted. Drake is a way better rapper than Rick Ross. But standing next to somebody like Ross for Drake, like that is fulfilling to him, like making songs with him. And it's like there's something there that he has always liked about Ross, and they've always made great music together because whether he felt like no matter what, he could out rap Ross, but the thing was Ross was always cool, so it always kind of, and he's tried to replicate that with like Future and 21 Savage and stuff, but it's never been as good as like the songs he's made with Ross.
Because Ross is better rapping those too, you mentioned.
Yeah. And like there's so much to this because like now they're all on each other on IG going back and forth, and it's like it's like a funny kind of thing here. So before that all gets responded to, Kendrick Lamar is now like waiting in the weeds. Like I think he's waiting for all this, stuff to blow over between Ross and Drake temporarily, and then, he'll strike. I think after that, and the songs are coming, the gloves are coming off. I just hope Kendrick Lamar comes in where it's like, yo, I've been like, I heard Peter Rosenberg, and I don't bring up him often because he never really has anything of value to say. But I thought this was an interesting kind of point. He was saying, Drake and Kendrick Lamar, this is kind of like Floyd Mayweather's Manny Pacquiao. It's like happening a little bit too late. I thought that was an interesting concept, but I feel like these guys.
Wait, in what position? Okay, who's who in this scenario?
I don't know who's supposed to be who, but I would imagine that Floyd is Drake. Okay, but I think they as far as it being too late, like I don't know, like I just feel like the more time you have, like the more potent you have the chance to be. Like, could this have happened between them, like when Damn was out? I think it would. Anytime you line them up, because people are still thirsty for this. Like, and it's like by far the most thing that's happened, like compelling thing that's happened in rap in ages. Like,
amongst the men,
amongst the men, yeah. Because look, I said this on Twitter, but anybody happy about this stuff, y'all need to thank Megan Thee Stallion for jumping it all off and handling that one lady,
Have we heard anything from Nicki ever since she put out that Bigfoot shit that was trash?
No. The 4 or 5 songs did not emerge. I wonder why. I think she went on tour or something, but whatever.
Okay, well, good for her. She's still making money. I don't mean that in a dismissive way. I know it sounded dismissive, but yeah, I like Nicki outside a lot of her music she's made over the years. I obviously don't like the fact that she keeps hanging out with sex offenders, but
she kind of has no choice now.
She's married to one. Yeah, it's really fucking weird. Really, really fucking weird.
But we're all waiting on Kendrick Lamar now, and the ball's in his court, and I'm willing to wait. He wants to take 2 weeks, take a month, 2 months, whatever he wants to do. Like, everyone's like, oh, it's been a day, it's been 2 days. Like, I think, if you want to dissect somebody, could you do it in a day? Sure. But I think there's an element of strategy that's needed to this, especially with Ross coming in. You don't want to get swallowed up in the jokes of Rick Ross and the humor of Rick Ross and that whole thing. You want whatever you drop to be the atomic bomb that goes off that gets the attention.
I think there's also this thing of the like people want this stuff so much faster in turnarounds than like what it was, 20 years ago, just cause, right? Like the way people were on Cole and Drake's ass said, y'all gotta respond, y'all got like a day. Is like, that's not how this works. Like somebody throws shots at you like 20 years ago, someone's not just showing up the very next day to talk about the, put out diss record. This was never the case. Obviously, technology is easier or whatever. It was like, you gotta go about a strategy on how you plan on handling this thing out and like the counterplays and all that kind of stuff. Then also you got to start picking beats and then start writing shit. Like, I understand that like music is very, very disposable now, but that doesn't mean that like you want disposable diss records either. Because if you want disposable diss record, go ahead and play that Bigfoot like you was talking about.
Yeah.
No one knows about that no more. Okay, that's what happens when you jump out too early.
Yeah.
You gotta think.
You gotta ride that. You gotta ride that wave. You gotta feel whatever's happening. MP says, how does Cole come back? He can never rap tough again. So I think it's hard for Cole because, like, you asked me, I think 2 weeks ago on this podcast, I'm like, who's the actual best guy right now between those three? I still think it's Cole, right? But
ain't nobody gonna give him that one because of this right now,
bro. There's so much.
You know what it's like right now. He's like, all right, it is. Who's the best player in the NBA, right? And it's like the finals, and like you picking all three. You got to pick three people, right? 2 people are in the finals. One of them's not. Don't at that point in time, don't you dare say in front of a bunch of people, the one that's not in the finals is actually the best player. It don't matter if that's actually true. Ain't nobody want to hear that. And that's what's happened when Cole said, like, I want to take my name out of this. And like, I gotta be honest. I think Drake right now kind of wishes that he wasn't being called a white boy right now. I kind of think that Cole was like, hey man, whatever the hell is coming. Obviously the Ross thing that happened to Drake, that was what happened to Cole. But the possibility that like now this could happen to you is like maybe you got to fuck out of Dodge at the right time, because bro, those some deep wounds that hit at people, bro. That's deep. That's some. I don't even know how you handle that.
Yeah.
As a biracial, I have no idea.
Like if I was Drake and he was doing that, right, I would never respond to that. And like,
same.
Like you have to no sell that and like talk about everything else that he's pointing out or whatever and keep that. But you gotta just
the second you talk about the second you talk about your mom, the first thing gonna be like soft.
Yep.
Kobe Bryant, shake head, gift, soft. That's the first thing anyone gonna say.
Yep. I say this though, Drake better be counter prepping. He better start picking beats now or whatever, because whenever that bomb comes back at him, like I assume it's gonna be great. Whatever Kendrick does. So, next round is you gotta look at that guy from Compton, California next. Head up. Like, it's not throw Future in here, throw Metro Boom to be funny. It's not that. It's one-on-one after this.
So if you're any of these other guys that want something with Drake right now, right, that aren't Ross or not Kendrick, do you just get out the way?
Yes.
Or do you say, I'm gonna drop to something right now?
You get like if you're Future or something like that, like
if you're yeah.
You sell those 2 albums that nobody's listening to anymore. Like like the thing about these Future albums is just are like indistinguishable. They don't stand out from one another. They drop weeks apart. He's just really just like leeching off of the shit that's going on between whatever. He's walking around like he's on the outskirts of the drug game. That man's like Levy from The Wire right now. Like that man has the briefcase. Like he's all around. All these people are doing all the crimes and the drugs and the action, and then this guy's standing over there benefiting. Like he has nothing to offer to this anyway. Really, like.
I mean, I felt that for a long time. It's like it's this weird thing where like, look, man, I like Future, but I don't think Future at this point is. You kind of have to say he's a rap Hall of Famer, first ballot even. But he's not someone I rate as like, yeah, I think of all time rappers. I think Future. No, I do not think of the Davies that way at all. Right? And that ain't no shame in that, right? But it's like, nah, man. But yeah, like when you get people like that, you know, whether it's even when it's Gucci, right? It's like I don't know how when you get inside again to disc records, when you got those kind of people, it's like I don't know what you benefit from even responding to them. Like if you're Drake or if you were Jay-Z, what benefit do you get going after Future or Gucci after they say something to you? Because everyone's looking at you like you punching down.
Yeah, yeah.
Everyone's looking. Everybody that with in good faith thinks like everyone already knows you're at a certain level skill wise compared to this person. Are you bully now? Like you feel like you're a bully. So I don't know. But like, that whole song came out and it just said all this thing where like everybody's mad at Drake and it's like for all different reasons. It's like how do other people find out they all hate Drake? Like they didn't get together and be like,
this was a group chat.
You know what this fuck nigga did? He's like, you know what? Let me tell you about this. And then on the phone, the whole game of telephone, everyone got together and was like, yeah, man, let's turn this Legion of Doom into the Legion of fuck Aubrey Graham.
You know what it was like? It was like that Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho thing, like when they be like, "Hey man, you know who been pissing me off? This one motherfucker."
Roman Reigns.
Yep, and then all of them together, Drake. Like,
yes, that's exactly what happened. That was one of the funniest things. I fell out dying laughing when that happened. Is that 2016? Yeah, late 2016.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. But I'm interested to see what's next because like a lot of. And we talked about this. I think my cousin Alex mentioned this. Part of it when it came to like people were still treating Kendrick like the boogeyman, and like I had just thought about it at the time. I was like, most of these upper echelon guys now at this point, we're talking about Ross, we're talking about Metro, we're talking about Future, we're talking about Drake. We are talking about upper echelon rappers, right? A lot of them don't live where they're from anymore, right? And you think about the way like Whack 100 talking and all these dudes on the ground in LA, it's like a lot of these dudes want to live in LA. And it's like, do you really want to do this with someone that's from there that has people on the ground and you ain't really from there? And the most you can do is get, be affiliated. Like, do you really want to deal with that? Even if you live in, in a nice area, like if you want to go anywhere, do you really want to deal with that? And it's like, I can see why Kendrick, besides just the skills and, whatever else, is like, you don't want to deal with those problems. Yeah. You don't. I mean, this was like, PNB was at Roscoe's, got shot the fuck up. Like, Dolph was what, last year?
Yep.
But Dolph was still in Memphis. So it's like, I can see why a lot of these dudes be like, man, maybe I want to, but like, is it really even worth it? For who, for what? I want to live out here, and I got pockets full of money.
Look,
is it worth it?
And don't let the game catch you slipping out there.